Welcome to our newest segment called Variety Gems, where I basically geek out on some of the most important things that you need to know in a certain film, a TV show, an anime, or a video game, but only the superior ones and the absolute bests. Otherwise, it's pointless to even call them gems in the first place, right? Anyways, I decided to divide these gems into three different categories. Nalagay ko yung definitions guys sa description box so you can check that out. But I'll give you a bit of a preview since it's our first episode. Okay, so mainstream gems, the popular ones, they're often heavily advertised and can be found almost everywhere. Most likely napanood mo na or nalaro mo na. Or at least you know certain friends that are obsessed about it. Unless you don't have friends, then I'm really sorry about that. Next are the certified gems. This is a bit subjective guys kasi it can depend on what type of influence were you exposed growing up. So for example, if growing up, Channel 2 lang yung pinapanood mo or kapamilya ka lang, then most likely hindi ka familiar sa mga palabas ng GMA or Channel 7. But more or less narinig mo na malamang yung ika-6 na utos or magpakailanman or Daisy 7 at some point in your life, right? It's basically a cross between hidden and the mainstream. Mostly ito yung mga nakalakihan na natin na mga palabas o mga laro. And they're often influential and some can even hold a significant meaning in our lives. Probably meron pa tayo mga unforgettable stories ng mga baon hanggang ngayon mula nung napanood natin itong mga to. Nandito rin yung mga tinatawag na cult classics, yung mga go-to movies, anime, or video games na binabalik-balikan natin. At syempre hindi rin mawawala yung mga guilty pleasures natin na hindi na natin mabilang sa kamay kung ilang beses na ba nating pinanood. And of course, the hidden gems. Ito yung pinaka-snub na category sa lahat. Partly because they're mostly indie, abstract, low-budgeted, and has little to no advertisement to propel them into the mainstream. They're often regarded as boring, uninteresting, too old, and puro usap-usap lang. And madalas ka makakuha ng mga reactions dito na, yun na yun? So obviously, it's not really the cup of tea ng mga karamihan. But it's still a fucking gem, alright? So our first feature of the year is a mainstream gem, and it's called Breaking Bad, an American TV series created by Vince Gilligan. The term Breaking Bad or to break bad is an old local saying in the southern parts of America, and it means to turn to a life of crime. Breaking Bad tells us the story of Walter White, an underpaid and unmotivated high school chemistry teacher who is struggling with a recently diagnosed stage 3 lung cancer. Knowing fully well of his chances of surviving, Mr. White turns to a life of crime, partnering with his former student Jesse Pinkman. Together they produce and distributed drugs in the streets to secure his family's financial future before he finally dies, all the while being immersed in the dangers of the criminal world in New Mexico. Quite a literal way of saying things went south. So the ultimate question is, what really makes Breaking Bad so exceptionally good? Beyond the fact that Vince Gilligan, or the creator of the show, is a genius, I honestly think that Breaking Bad is exceptionally good, all because of its mixed genre. It's a crime show, yes, no shit. But to really accurately label Breaking Bad, this show is a neo-western, black comedy, tragedy crime show. Yep, and here's why. Like an old western movie, Breaking Bad follows the story of an anti-hero protagonist turning to a life of crime. But instead of horses and cowboys, we now have vehicles and drug lords. Also, all 62 episodes of Breaking Bad were all set and filmed in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a southern deserty part of United States. So all of these confirms that Breaking Bad falls under the neo-western genre. Breaking Bad is a modern western show. And although Breaking Bad is mainly a crime show, so it's supposed to mostly make you feel intrigued or frightened and thrilled, you'll be surprised by how much you will find yourself laughing at the most awkward and darkest moments of the show.
We gotta... We gotta clean this up.
And that's one way to tell if you're actually watching something that uses black comedy. Black comedy is just humor in the most unusual moments and places. It's one of the greatest tools to effectively tell a story. And beyond the show's unfortunate and tragic turn of events, there's this subgenre of drama that we call tragedy. Tragedy is a form of drama based on human suffering and the sorrowful events that befall a main character. And aside from having a very sad ending, Breaking Bad actually has it all in terms of the elements that a certain tragedy must contain. According to Aristotle's Poetics, a tragedy must include the four following elements. Number one is called hamartia, or the protagonist's tragic flaw. Well, Walter White, sure enough, has made a lot of messed up things, and he is definitely this very flawed human being. Well, so are we. But I guess his biggest mistake was entering the world of crime. But then again, we wouldn't be having this show and this video if it wasn't for those big mistakes. So thank you, Mr. White, for fucking up. Number two is called anagnorisis, a tragic hero's change of heart. Check. I mean, Walt has had countless changes of heart all throughout the series. And the plot of the show was so dynamic, so of course our protagonist had to catch up with that. That's why his character is constantly being developed or is constantly being changed all throughout the series. And I guess Walt's biggest change of heart can be seen in this episode where he just loses it on a fight with his wife, Skylar.
Justify this whole thing and admit you're in danger.
Who are you talking to right now? You clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
He totally went from this boring old chemistry teacher to being Heisenberg, the one who knocks and the danger. This was Walt's biggest and most significant transformation all throughout the show, and is also the most iconic. Number 3 is called peripecia, a reversal of the tragic hero's fortune, or the turning point toward tragedy. As we all know, nagkaroon ng complete remission yung cancer ni Walt. But after a few seasons, nag-relapse or bumalik na naman yung cancer niya. And despite that, hindi pa rin sila tumigil sa pagpuproduce ng crystal meth nung gumaling na siya. And of course, mas lalong hindi siya tumigil nung nagkaroon na siya ng relapse. Because this time around, he's no longer doing it for his family. Kasi sobrang dami na niyang pera na literal na pwede mo nang gawing kama.
I gotta do it, man.
Dude.
He's only doing it for himself na lang, which made everything around him so incredibly fucked up. Number 4 is catharsis, the release of emotions or purification for us audience while we are witnessing this tragedy unfold. Well, I tried searching for the most definitive explanation dito, no? Kasi hindi inelaborate ni Aristotle yung full meaning ng catharsis sa context niya ng tragedy. Pero puro opinions lang din yung mga nakita ko, so I think it's open for interpretations. I think what he meant by purification is the satisfaction that we get from these tragic stories. Because every time na makakarinig tayo ng unfortunate event or story based in our stupid human impulse, may certain relief sa part natin eh. I think watching or hearing these kinds of things makes us feel highly of ourselves. Like, yeah, I'm better than Walt. I got my shit together.
I have full control of my life.
Alam mo yun, I think it gives us this certain sense of security na everything is fine kasi wala pa ako sa point na yan. But in reality, we're actually taking it as a moral lesson. And tayo naman is kaya nanonood or naglalaro or nagbabasa. Aside from killing time, we do it because we simply enjoy it. And it brings us pleasure and satisfaction. So I guess catharsis is as simple as that. Too bad Aristotle isn't here with us, but I'm pretty sure he'd probably agree.
Okay.
This TV show is a lot of my first times too. It's the first time I've ever seen characters develop so dynamically. Like walang major characters na hindi nagbago along the way. Significant lahat ng events, ng actions, ng motivations to further the development of the story. Except na lang siguro dun sa Fly na episode. But still, Breaking Bad fans love that shit. Appreciate ko rin yun. I think it's very funny to devote an entire episode para sa isang langaw. Again, props sa humor ni Vince Gilligan. But aside from that, yun talaga yung pinaka-striking feature na nakita ko sa Breaking Bad na wala sa most TV shows. Mapapansin mo talaga na very delicate yung pagka-handle sa show. Talagang careful sila sa pag-develop ng lahat. Ultimo mga subplots ng mga supporting characters at lalong-lalo na ng mga villains. AMC or the broadcasting network ng Breaking Bad actually even wanted fewer episodes. But the showrunners never really rushed things. Nakagawa pa nga sila ng entire spin-off dedicated para sa isang supporting character lang. Ganun ka-generous and kasipag yung mga writers sa pagbibigay buhay nila sa mga characters sa show. And I take that as a service because I know these showrunners aren't here just to tell a story. They actually care for the viewers and I know perfection when I see one. The show was made out of pure dedication and love for their craft. So yeah, if you're gonna ask me what's my all-time favorite show, 100% without a doubt. It's Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad. That's it for this video. Kung nagustuhan nyo yun, I wanna know your thoughts about it. If you wanna give out suggestions or recommendations na gusto nyo i-feature natin for the next episode, leave them in the comment sections. Huwag kayong mahiya, pag-usapan natin yan. Thank you so much for watching B for Variety. See you next vid.